Alright, so we already talked about these different kinds of functions, so let's take a closer look at what these functions look like. So, for example, the minimum function that we already saw, we chose these numbers, hit enter, it gives you the minimum value, but the way to read this, and the formula bar will always show you what your formula is the minimum of all the numbers between C8 and C11, and note how it's inside parentheses, and the colon basically means anything from this number to that. So if I said, C8 to C15, it kind of shows it visually. These are the numbers it's going to look for the minimum of, and it also kind of tells you what the minimum of those numbers are. All right, so we talked about the mortgage payment per month. So the formula for that, the inbuilt formula for that is PMT, or payment. And when you bring your arrow over PMT and click on that, notice it shows parentheses and then this thing called rate, NPER, PV, FV, and type. So each one of these formulas have a meaning, and if you click on it, it'll tell you what the meaning is. So rate is basically the interest rate, NPER is the total number of periods you'll pay, PV is the present value, and so the price of the house as of today, and type the number 0 or 1, which indicates payments are due on the, so 0 would be at the end of the period, 1 would be at the beginning of the period. So we are looking at the end of the period. So I will go in here and I'll have to provide these 4 pieces of information. This parenthesis means this information is not required. If I can put that in or not. So the first information is rate. I can go in here and click on my interest rate here. Okay, so I'll click on that, but then it's a monthly payment, so I will divide the yearly interest rate by 12. So it's basically saying my interest rate is 4.73 divided by 12. Notice the slash, this backslash means division, comma, number of period, which will be in this case 360, comma, the present value of the house. Well, the present value of the house is 300,000 minus the amount of down payment. So that will be this number, which is C8, multiplied by 100 minus, or 1 minus 20%. 20% will be read as 0.2. Let me close the parentheses and then comma. Well, we didn't really have to provide any more information, but we can say the payment begins at the end of the month. Hit enter. There. It tells us that the first month's, each month's payment is going to be 1248.34. Notice there are these parentheses around it, which basically means it's a negative number because you have to make the payment. So you can go on the cell, right click, go for format cell, and say I want it without the parentheses. It's a currency. These are the different kinds of formats for negative number. All right, so there you go. You have your monthly payment. Okay. All right, so I think you're in a place where you understand these formulas to some extent. So let's take a look at some of the other numbers. So this is the Excel sheet that you guys are trying to emulate or copy. So monthly exco tax, which is basically the annual tax divided by 12. What is the annual tax? Well, I kind of put that here, 4,000, which is C9. So I said in the formula equals negative C9 divided by 12. Okay, so if I just did that here, equals negative C9, so I can just click on that, divided by 12. Notice I get this, not a dollar sign, so I could click on the cell, right-click it, go to Format Cells, and then say it's a currency, and then choose it to be read whenever it's a negative number. So now they look similar, okay? My initial investment is nothing but the down payment multiplied by the amount of the property. So C5 multiplied by C8. So that takes care of these. Now here I've made a new table. I've divided them out by year, and we'll kind of see how each one of these columns are calculated in the next slide, or in the next video.